Israel. Learn English podcast with Safa Shelly, the world's best language school. Let's go.
ברוכים הבאים לפודקאסט של שפות שלי, בית ספר לאנגלית. לשפות נוספות המוביל בישראל. אני אריאל, I'm here today, אני כאן היום, with the one and only Josh.
Yeah.
How are you, man?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Good, man. Good to have you back on the show.
It's amazing to be here.
Our listeners have been writing in.
Yes.
We're happy to hear Josh. How's Josh doing? I hope he's keeping well. You have a fan base on our site.
It's good to know.
All right. So
Shout out to my fans.
shout out to your fans. So תודה רבה that you're back on the show. For מי שלא מכיר, Josh is part of our team in English, head of pedagogy. He's an amazing person, an amazing teacher גם, חלק מהצוות שלנו. And if you guys want to improve your spoken English, תרצו לשפר את האנגלית מדוברת שלכם, עצרו איתנו קשר ב-053501976. אנחנו זמינים גם בוואטסאפ, או דרך האימייל גם info@safotsheli.co.il, או פשוט תתקשרו אלינו, just call us.
Yeah.
Easiest way, call us, WhatsApp us, we're here. All right, so that's a little intro about what we do here at Safot Sheli. Today, we've got a fun episode, Josh.
I know. I'm excited.
All right, we're going to play a bit of, I wouldn't call it a game, but I'm going to challenge you, okay? I'm going to say a quote, and you're going to try to guess, firstly, who said the quote. And maybe you can give us some background, קצת רקע, meaning about it. quote זה ציטוט, מי שלא יודע.
Yeah.
Okay, so אני רוצה אני אגיד ציטוט, and in English, נסביר את זה קצת explain maybe in עברית. You can say a couple of words of what that ציטוט means to you as well, okay? So the first bomb that we have for today, okay, is injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Don't peek, you're peeking who said that.
I love thinking. Okay. Do you know who said that? So I don't know who said it, but it sounds to me like someone who's speaking about justice. In this day and age, I kind of cringe, but it's more of a historical thing. בעצם אני חושב, I think that this is most likely one of the civil rights movement of
זה יופי.
maybe Malcolm X or maybe Rosa Parks. The most famous, Martin Luther King, I think. Probably.
All right, that's spot on, Josh. Very, very good. The one who basically spoke against injustice and injustice.
Yeah.
בצדק ואי צדק, זה היה Martin Luther King. Do you know the difference between Martin Luther King, for example, Malcolm X? It's
a very big political discussion that I'm afraid to open up on the podcast because it can get us down certain rabbit holes.
Okay.
I'm not sure, maybe.
Why were the different ends of political
parties? But, there are many people who still espouse or care about these ideas, and it opens up a whole political discussion.
מה זה אומר? בוא נגיד, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere, הוא בעצם אומר, אין צדק באיזשהו מקום בעולם, הוא סיכון, הוא בעצם מסכן צדק בכל מקום בעולם.
בכל מקום, yeah.
Is that why Americans try to get involved in every conflict on earth?
Well, it's a way of virtue signaling. You could use this to argue, but, as the thing, and I think we've all kind of come to learn in the past year or two, is that one group's justice is another group's injustice, correct? So הצדק של קבוצה אחר זה אי צדק של מישהו אחר. לעוד קבוצה, right?
All right, so let's move on to the next one.
Yeah.
And I told you, it's a topic that, justice, injustice, especially nowadays, is unclear.
Yeah.
Lines are blurred with everything.
Yeah, of course.
Ukraine, North Korea, South Korea, China, Taiwan, United States, Democrats, Republicans, left-wing, right-wing.
The elephant in the room.
Yeah, it's too many questions around that. All right, so we'll leave that for another episode.
Sure, yeah, or never.
Oh, no, never. Okay, as the next quote, okay, don't look. You look out. I see you looking at me because there was a good guess, Josh.
Malcolm X one. Yeah.
No, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King one. Okay, next quote. Be the change that you wish to see in the world.
I think be the change. So this is first of all, תהיה את השינוי שאתה רוצה לראות בעולם.
אוקיי, יפה מאוד. אני רוצה לשאול אותך שאלה. Do you believe in that?
Yeah.
So you want to be the change you want to see in the world. I actually, you know what? From my experience knowing you, and I know that you do try to uphold your beliefs.
Some things. I'll give an example, right? The other day I was at the park. At park, and I saw on the ground a bag that looked really like it looked like very cool. It was one of those like small pouch teak things, those small like knapsack things, a fanny pack maybe, as my group would call it back in America. But I thought it was okay, cool. And usually sometimes people bring clothing to parks as well. So I take it and I see that there's a phone and money in it, right? And like food. It's like clearly some like students or something. So
It was on the floor?
It was on the floor. Like there was no one around. I looked around. And so I looked in this bag and I saw that there was around like 300 shekels. That's like $100, almost 400. And so, of course, the first thought I think is, oh, maybe, this is like my lucky day. I found money, but clearly this belongs to someone, right? Now, it's not a victimless crime, but it's definitely a crime you could get away with, right? I could have taken the money. I could have left everything there and just taken the money even, right?
Right.
But I decided, you know what? No, because if I was in this situation, I would like at the very least hope that someone would leave me the wallet and my phone, for me to find it.
Right.
So what I did was actually I took the whole bag and I went to the community center that was right next door, and there was some like event going on with a bunch of mothers.
Okay.
And so I said, hey, does anyone work here? They said no, but they knew someone. I said, someone left this, and I gave it. And that's the change that I want to see in the world, because there's a lot of bad things that happen. People can be horrible, but doing the right thing, like when you find lost property, returning it or helping someone find it, making an effort to bring it to its owner, is I think like a very good mitzvah that I think is like universal.
You know what? I've been in a similar situation, like especially when I was like a kid, and there's always the thought of it, like it's pretty tempting.
Yeah.
When you especially got like money or something that's tempting.
Yeah.
You just say, whatever, at least still get his stuff back, or maybe I'll just take the money.
Yeah.
And yeah, but there's always karma, you're right. I would truly believe in karma. I think karma is משהו שחוזר, life's a cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good example of be the change you want to be in the world. Do something which you believe that the world will reciprocate back to you.
Yeah.
All right, that's a nice example, Josh. All right, and who said it? This was said by Gandhi. Okay, אז גנדי אמר את זה. Josh, אתה מכיר את גנדי?
Yeah, I do actually. There's two things.
Personally, you know Gandhi?
I don't know him personally. Okay, but I've heard of him. I do know that, first of all, he was very much into karma. From what I understood, he believed in karma and all that. But I also know that, there's people have mixed opinions about him nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard people say that he was a good guy. I've heard other people say that. So yeah,
It's a bad thing.
well, he had some flaws. I think that most humans have flaws.
What
Right?
bad things did he do?
I don't know. I see. I'm not at liberty to even say, but I've heard a few things. I just don't know if
Can you
it's like,
Google it? Is it in Google?
I'm sure it's on Google, but I think maybe our listeners can look that up. I just think maybe it's better because if it is something, I wouldn't want to bring something very dark and negative into the podcast.
אוקיי, אין בעיה, בסדר גמור, קיבלנו. אז אם אתם מעוניינים לשמוע משהו קצת יותר פרטים על גנדי, אם הוא יהיה טוב ורע, חלקים קצת יותר אפלים עליו, שג'וש מכיר.
I just heard. I've heard criticism.
Hearsay, ביקור שמיים זה, yeah. So just Google it. אתם יודעים שגוגל, Googling it, if I'm telling you something like Google it, it's good, it's a verb, it's a part.
To Google, לגלגל.
Yeah.
לגולגל.
You know what the maddest thing is? That Google is so big as a company, they've actually become a verb in the English language.
אבל זה מזמן.
זה בזמן, yeah, that's all right, so that's a big deal. We want to be there, like you. If you say to someone one day to "Unfortunately," or you say "Unfortunately," which means you're learning English,
I'm gonna
or learning another language. We're gonna be there one day.
השם של החברה יהפוך להיות
Paul,
Yeah.
that'll be like a big deal. That's a big deal.
unfortunately.
All right, so let's move on to the next one. Do not look, Josh. I want to make this a little bit exciting.
I'm not looking.
The only thing that we have to fear is fear itself.
I know Theodore Roosevelt.
Franklin Roosevelt, yeah.
Okay.
Do you know the difference between Theodore and Franklin?
They're two different people.
Were they both presidents?
Yeah, I believe no.
You believe so? You don't know the history about that too much?
When I was younger, I used to know the presidents when I was a child, but
What kind of American are you if you don't know the president?
not a good one.
Not a good one.
I don't know if I would pass the test for the citizenship.
Okay. So, מה זה אומר? הדבר היחיד שיש לו לפחד ממנו זה מהפחד עצמו.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how true that is because you have a lot of things in life which are pretty much worth fearing. But if you fear itself, what is he talking about really?
Well, so maybe I think like one of the most primitive forms of fear that we have, why are people afraid of the dark, is because the dark is like kind of the unknown. You can't see it. So there's the fear of the unknown, I think, is maybe what he's talking about. Obviously, we have fears of specific things, but there's some things that we just don't know. And if we worry about that, we won't have any progress. We won't be
able to live actually.
Yes.
So the moment you fear the fear, אז אתה לא יכול בעצם להתקדם.
Yeah.
אז אתה אומר שהוא בעצם אומר לפחד מהפחד עצמו, זה הדבר היחיד שאנחנו צריכים לפחד ממנו. Maybe he's talking about like anxiety causes. For the modern generation, that's basically the cause of anxiety, fearing the fear.
Yeah, but in his generation, they didn't have these even in their. I don't even know if they had these terms in their medical journals yet. Back in that.
So you're saying that, for example, if we were to fear death, then we should fear of that basically.
Well, yeah, because that's like a primal fear.
That's like a primal fear. Okay, בסדר, טוב. בוא נמשיך לעוד אחד. An eye for an eye will leave the whole world blind. I'll give you a hint, okay? דרך הרמז. זה עין תחת עין, ישוד כל עולם עיוור. All right, Dale, who said that? I'll give you a hint, okay?
Okay.
If you're stuck, I'll give you a hint.
Yeah.
We've mentioned him today.
You've mentioned him today. Gandhi?
Yeah.
Really?
Gandhi.
It's another Gandhi one.
The good one, bad guy. The good guy, bad guy.
That bad guy. Okay. Yeah, okay.
Do you agree with that? An eye for an eye will leave the whole world blind.
I would argue that an eye for an eye, that having this approach will leave the world with one person who has one eye, controlling over a bunch of blind people. אתה מבין? If you believe in this, I agree in principle, like both in like עקרוני, תודה, the principles of it, sure. But I think the way humans behave when it comes to power dynamics and like stuff is that if you trust one person to have an eye, because everyone else has been blinded by following it, and then you decide to turn it over, how can you trust that the one person can see is going to be truthful, is going to tell you what's in front of you, right? Or is going to use that power for good?
Okay, but they're not talking about both eyes. They're talking about eye tachat eye. So it's one eye for one eye.
Yeah, but
they both have still have another eye.
No. What he's saying is that the cycle of violence will eventually leave everyone blind, right?
Right.
I would argue that the cycle of violence is an unfortunate but natural part of human nature, right?
Okay.
And to leave the idea is to turn the other cheek, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you're weak and you turn the other cheek to someone who's stronger than you, how can you trust that they will always be forgiving or do the right thing, even though there's nothing that's forcing them to do the right thing?
Okay. אז אני אשאל אותך שאלה.
No.
What about an eye for two eyes?
So, it sounds like a very good form of deterrence.
Mm-hmm.
Hatra. That was close. Hatra, right? But, I'm not going to jump too deep into these moral conundrums, at least a recorded conversation.
Look, the Bible says, the Torah, it says that an eye for an eye, that's about it. So if you're taking two eyes, I don't know. Yeah, it just says one eye, an eye for an eye. There's actually that, like a musag in the Torah. It's interesting that what happens if you kill someone by mistake? Okay, let's say you didn't mean to kill someone, but you had an accident. Someone was driving manslaughter, yeah, but it was an accident. So in order to avoid retribution by the family or something like that, the punishment would be to actually send that person away to to live in a city, of people who did manslaughter as well.
Oh, really?
Just a bunch of people who did manslaughter.
Really? In a city or a jail?
I understand it would be like a city. It would be a specific city. Yeah. So they would be living there. That's what I know. אם יש לכם פידבק או אינפוט על הנושא הזה, זה יכול להיות מעניין, אבל לפי מה שידוע לי, יש כזה מושג בתורה גם, שאם מישהו הורג מישהו בשגגה, manslaughter by mistake, then they'll be sent away to avoid retribution, okay, by the family members. All right, so that one's that topic. Yeah, we're going dark with manslaughter. Okay. Let's think that with this one. I think, therefore I am.
Oh, Shakespeare.
No, this is someone French. He's a philosopher for his philosophical work. I don't even know how to say his name, to be honest. It's a hard one, Josh. I doubt you'll get this.
I don't know. Yeah.
בוא נתרגם את זה לעברית קודם כל, שהמאזינים יבינו מה זה אומר. I think, therefore I am. What does it mean?
אני חושב, אז אני נמצא.
אני קיים.
אני קיים.
אני חושב, לכן אני קיים.
אני חושב?
You know, that's deep. זה עמוק, זה עמוק. זה אומר, כאילו, בעצם, אם אתה חושב, which a lot of people don't do, let's start with that.
Yeah.
I exist.
Yeah.
Okay? So, I think that he's basically saying that our conscious is everything.
Yeah.
המודעות שלנו, consciousness, זה הכל, כאילו. It's everything in life.
Yeah.
If you're not in conscience or understanding what you're doing, you basically don't exist. And who said this? Rene Descartes. I don't even know how to say his name.
René Descartes. I don't know. That's not our French.
Yes, that's very French. So Descartes. It's two letters to be cut off in French, so we don't know. Okay, so
Descartes.
let's go to the next one, which is going to be fun. Those who dare to fail miserably can achieve greatly. Those who dare to fail miserably can achieve greatly. אלה שמעזים ליפול בצורה חזקה miserably, how would you do miserably? בצורה קיצונית, like in a horrible way. can achieve, יכולים להשיג משהו משמעותי. אלה שמעזים ליפול בצורה קיצונית, אלה בעצם יכולים להקים משהו בגודלה. בגדול, that means willing to risk it all.
I think the owner of Amazon, what was his name?
Bezos?
Bezos.
Good guess. He was a president, a U.S. president who said this.
Oh, George Bush.
No, he's a Democrat. Democrat, old.
Did he win? Or was he?
He was a Democrat. He's the most famous Democrat.
Bill Clinton.
No, there's a more famous one than Bill Clinton. He's the most famous Democrat ever lived.
Obama.
No. JFK.
Oh, JFK.
Come on, dude.
Okay. He was a Democrat. Yeah.
All right. So JFK was a Democrat, no?
Well, he was. But
okay, since you know, let's talk about this 1 second. אנחנו נלך קצת off topic פה עם הציטוטים. But then I'm going to ask you a quick question, okay? Because we're running out of time. What about RFK? Robert F. Kennedy. He's the actual nephew of JFK, apparently.
He's crazy. I mean, he's interesting. This is like you're asking me my political opinion.
No, not political opinion. I'm saying, how was he a Democrat that became a Republican? מה קרה איתו בעצם?
So there's I'm not super sure. I could look this up, and this is a conversation for like a whole podcast in and of itself. But I know that basically even now we see there's Democrats that have completely lost their minds. I mean, the Democratic Party has progressives in it, and progressives, part of the political theory or the philosophy of being progressive youth, which can be good, is that you're always changing, right? So what was considered progressive 10 years ago is no longer progressive. That's mainstream, right? And so progressivi. And so I think with a lot of these, we could say traditional Democrats, they just stopped. They just were no longer considered Democrats or liberals because liberals and Democrats kept progressing, right? But that's basically, I think, it. Okay, because I know a lot of people who look fondly on JFK, both left and the right, but it's like, I think from what I understand, the right also looks back on JFK very, very fondly, right? Even though he was a Democrat.
Okay, so I saw a picture of RFK is basically the health minister now, Robert F. Kennedy.
Yeah, he has some interesting ideas.
He's very strong. He's beef. He's very strong. For old man, he's outdoor.
Yeah.
And apparently, if you heard his voice, he's got a bit of blood. He's got a shake of the voice.
He sounds like he's a chain smoker.
It's impossible to hear him speak. It's very, very matrit.
Yeah.
You know what happened to him? He had like a neurological, some kind of disease. I don't know, it affected his speech. It's a pretty interesting story. Wow. Anyways, תחפשו on Google, look it up, about RFK. ויש איזו תמונה מגניבה that he did with Trump on his private plane. Trump actually made him
the McDonald's, and he doesn't look like he's enjoying it.
Yeah, he's like pissed off. He's like pissed off. They put actually a red like Coca-Cola bottle in a McDonald's next to him, and he's like, I'm announcing the new health minister.
Yeah.
It was like Trump was saying, like, I'm going to force you to eat this. This is your trial. This is your initiation.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. ככה אנחנו מקבלים אותך.
Yeah.
Okay. You prove yourself now. Drink the Coke and have a McDonald's.
Yeah.
It will make you health minister of America. That's pretty nuts. Okay. Dude, this will be, I think,
it's for a very interesting year. Interesting 4 years.
ממש. זה הולך להיות מאוד מאוד מעניין מה הולך לקרות בפוליטיקה אמריקאית ועולמית.
I'm excited to do podcasts with you about this.
Yeah, חברים. This will be talked about for centuries. Yeah, I think this team that he's got on his team.
If humanity gets that far.
Yeah, this will be spoken about for hundreds of years, this next 4 years, I think.
Yeah.
All right. זה הולך להיות מעניין מאוד. Let's do one more quote and we wrap this up for today. Do not pray for an easy life. pray for the strength to enjoy a difficult one. זה משהו, וואו. You know what? I love that. I love that.
This sounds like Goggins.
It does. ומי שאמר את זה הוא גם סוג של גוגינס. אוקיי, הוא אמר, בוא נתרגם את זה שנייה, אל תתפללו לחיים קלים. תתפללו לכוח כדי לשרוד חיים קשים. A difficult one. Alright. וזה מעניין, אנחנו גם אומרים את זה תמיד שלנו באנגלית, אל תתפללו לקורס קל. תתפללו לכוח כדי לעבור את הקורס בהצלחה.
בדיוק.
And this is what we do. This is our ethos, I think. Josh, you put them through trial by fire, we call it. אבל הם תעברו ואתם תנצחו, and then you become a ninja like Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee said this. I'm actually pretty shocked. He's got a very interesting quote.
Yeah.
It's a call for resilience and determination. Very, very nice quote. Yeah. All right. So, Josh, I had a lot of fun. We're going to have to wrap this one up for today. The producers here are like, do signaling, shut this down, shut this party down. And, dude, it's good to see you. Dude, you're a good man and an interesting man and a good friend and an amazing, I want to swear, but I won't swear, teacher. One of the top.
We don't swear in our classes.
We don't swear in our classes. And guys, thank you for listening. תודה שהזנתם לנו. אם הגעתם עד לכאן, if you reach this part of the podcast, you guys are amazing. Josh, can you tell them something very, very, if they reach this part of the podcast, you have to tell them something very personal about yourself. Like something completely off the hook, because only a rare few.
Only a rare, yeah. You really make it here. Let's think. So on this, when I was 3 years old, me and my dad, we had this game called the President's Game. And I actually knew like all of the famous quotes from every president in America going up to 1998. So up to Bill Clinton. But I could quote every president when I was a child.
Amazing. Yeah. That's a nice.
Well, not all of Bill Clinton's quotes, but like, yeah.
All right. That's nice. אנחנו נשאיר אתכם עם a nice did you know?
I don't know them anymore.
But as far as I can hear from today, Bill Clinton is probably your favorite president as far as I can.
He was the most culturally relevant to my childhood, I think.
All right, yeah, he was. Interesting figure, controversial figure.
Yeah.
All right, תודה רבה לכם שהזנתם לנו כאן. צרו איתנו קשר. Hope you guys enjoyed this podcast as much as we did being here.
Yeah.
אנחנו רוצים את זה בשבילכם, אז תשלחו לנו feedback. Obviously, again, all hate mail goes directly to Josh. info@safoshley.co.il. תשאירו קומנטים בספוטיפיי.
אוקיי.
פידבקים על איך היה הפודקאסט, מה אתם רוצים, נושאים שאתם רוצים שאנחנו נדבר עליהם. And for any inquiries, get in touch with us. Give us a call. שיהיה לכם שבוע טוב ונפלא. Keep growing. Always keep learning. I know Josh is doing a few interesting courses. Maybe we can talk about in the future, Josh.
Awesome.
You're learning. You're also learning a couple of fun stuff. And that's it for today. תודה רבה. Bye.